this is Mr. Chandler, and I'm going to very quickly explain what we're doing with this Lift a Flap project over Chapter 16, The South and the Slavery Controversy from the American Spirit 15th edition for AP US History. This is for Mr. Chandler and Mrs. Sheth's AP US History classes. So let's go ahead and talk about it, and I've got a PowerPoint here I'm gonna kind of flip through while I speak. All right, so the assignment is to create a Lift a Flap folder that explains Chapter 16, which is about the South and slavery. It will count as a major grade. We will be working on it all day in class on Thursday and Friday, and then it will be due on Monday, November 9th. If you're watching this video next year in 2016 or whatever, then, you know, obviously the dates are a little off, but you get it. Every day late, it will be counted off 10 points. That is the CHS late policy for major grades. So that's pretty standard. You guys know about that. So let's talk about what's entailed in this project, and then I'll show you some examples. All right, so what you're going to have is you're going to have a folder. You're going to be given a folder, or you can bring your own if you remember to bring one on Thursday, but you must start on Thursday. So if you don't bring your own folder, you're going to have to use one of the ones we have in class, which is fine. We've got plenty. The title, so the cover, the front cover of this folder should have the title, which is Chapter 16, The South and the Slavery Controversy, then your full name, first and last name, your class period, and then some sort of picture drawn or printed. This picture will not count toward the 5 extra credit pictures that I'm going to talk about at the end. So that picture does have to be on there. All right. Then within it, you will have flaps for each of 10 topics. Cotton boom, aristocracy, economic division, white classes, free blacks, slavery, slave rebellions and resistance, colonization movement, abolitionism, and Southern backlash. These topics are in order in the textbook. That was extremely loud. All right, these topics are in order in the textbook. We didn't put the page numbers because if you're working on it in class using the 13th edition of the textbook or 12th edition or whatever it is, then obviously the page numbers are going to be way off from what they are in the version you have at home, but they are in this order in both books, and there's plenty of information in both versions of the book. You should use your textbook for this. So for each one of these, you're going to have a flap, and we'll look at some examples of what the flaps look like, but you're going to have a flap for each of the 10 examples. Within that flap, you're going to have at least 5 complete sentences explaining the main points of each of those topics. So for instance, cotton boom, you would want to have a sentence talking about Eli Whitney's cotton gin. You would want to have a sentence about how it affects slavery, etc. All right, moving along to the next thing, extra credit. So on top of doing all that, you may also get up to 10 points of extra credit on this. It's a major grade. You definitely want to do this if you can. I mean, you can, but you ought to do it. You may include up to 5 pictures, not counting the picture on the front. That doesn't count toward the 5. Each good picture will count for 1 bonus point. Pictures may be drawn or printed. They must make sense. They must have to do with what you're talking about. They must be near the thing. So for instance, if it were me, each of my flaps would have a picture on it, and that would be 10 pictures. But you know, do it how you're going to do it. You can only get up to 5 bonus points for up to 5 pictures. Anything over 5 is just for you. You may not print in class. I will not send you to the library. I will not send you to another classroom. I will not print for you. If you want printed pictures, print them yourself at home or after school on your own time. Otherwise, just draw them. There are art supplies in both my room and Miss Sheth's room, so there's plenty of that stuff. Simple pictures are fine as long as they're neat and in color. And if you print things in black and white, that's fine. I just mean that if you draw like a simple like log cabin or something, color it. And it will be up to the teacher to determine whether or not the picture that you have is actually worth the points. You may also get another 5 bonus points for creating a flap with 10 vocabulary words. Each word must have a complete full definition. Okay. The way a lot of people do this is they make a little pocket and they put flashcards inside it. So whatever you want to do, I'll have cardstock and index cards and sticky notes and all sorts of stuff available for you for that stuff. Okay, So I have some examples here. I have some pictures of some examples first. So you can see, here's an example. This is the front cover of one. This is for Native American, so this is a flip a flap book about Native Americans. So there's the front cover, has a map showing you the different Native Americans, and has the title, and it should have the name on it. I don't know if it does. Then inside, you've got flaps for each topic. So you see there's a tab on Sequoia, the guy that invented the Cherokee syllabary. We talked about him last week or this week, I guess last week. There's one on Pocahontas, one on Sunny, et cetera, and you flip each one and there'd be definitions or sentences. Native American homes, and there's flaps for each of those. And then they've got a pocket for their flashcards. So they've got all that kind of stuff. Here's a flip-a-flap state report on state government and other, or on their state, whatever state it is. So the front cover probably has a picture of the state and the title. And then inside we have a flap on the state song, a flap on the state bird, a flap on the state government facts, the state motto, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, with pictures for some but not all of the flaps. And you see the pictures are in black and white. For ours, we want them in color unless they're printed on a black and white printer. But don't they look nice? They look very nice. All right, here's another example. This one, no printing done. Well, it looks like they did print some stuff, but very homemade looking, also very grainy and hard to see, I know. This one is 2 folders put together. That's interesting. You don't need to do that. If you want to, you can, though. That's completely fine. I don't know that we have enough folders for everybody to do that. I'm going to see if I can now go to my camera and show you some other examples I've got in class. Yes, there I am. Okay, so these are some examples that Miss Miller, the psychology teacher, gave me. So here's one. So this is on Little Albert. All right, so yeah, looks kind of ominous. They made it look really nice. They used, looks like scrapbooking paper and cardstock and like a gold pin. And you see they've got their flaps. Inside each flap, they've got their stuff. Now, they don't have a bunch of sentences in theirs. Theirs was not quite as, this is for level psychology, I believe, so it's not quite as rigorous. And then you see they've got a flap in here with their flashcards. So that's a good one. And Ms. Sheth and I both have these in our room for you to look at. Just be careful with them because they belong to Miss Miller. Here's one on the Clark doll experiment. They used colored duct tape to make a cover for theirs, to make it look really nice. They've got lots of pictures printed out. And you see theirs, they don't have flaps, and we would prefer to have the flaps. So for each of these, I'd like a flap over it with the title for that section. But still, it's pretty neat. And they've got some flaps, like right here, flaps. So looks pretty neat, very three-dimensional. Here's one by Sarah Dow, and this is on Ash, who did the Ash conformity experiment. Is a psychiatrist, I don't know. And so she's got her flaps. Now her flaps for this project were who, what, how, where, when, participants, etc. But you see all that, and then she's got her terms, little flashcards again. So very good. All right, that's it. So like I said, work on it Thursday and Friday. Work on it at home over the weekend if you have to. Do on Monday. Good luck. See you later.